Come on. All right, here we go. For your game, fill with
Daniel.
And I gave him the option on what to play. Looks like we're gonna play.
Yeah, we're playing. Oh, how do you pronounce this? Juken?
Hyper Juken.
From Australia.
From Australia. Some gamer dude in Australia. All right. Putting these guys back. And it's been months since I played last, but basically we've got 6 characters, and you can deck build, of course. But I guess looking at these guys, who do you want to pick?
I'm gonna go with the bear and the wasp person, I think. We'll go this one.
All right, yeah. So out of those, it'll be like which one of those for a quick pre-constructed deck? Which one do you want to be? Yep. Yeah, I'm not gonna even mess with the old guys. Let's mess with. This is set 1 and set 2. You have.
Okay, so it splits off. Oh.
We got Luis.
I guess this is for both characters.
Kind of just depending on. I think so. We've got their fighter's tool. Their the actual fighter themselves. Their 2 kata cards. I hope I have those mats in here. And this is the mark right here. But that's the mark deck. So pretty much it just starts with the fighter's tool card with the hypermeter there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there's one.
Wait a minute.
Now there's the other one.
Yo. All right, you going D-Stinger or Luis, you thinking?
I'll go with the B.
Yeah, because Luis, I think she's the most complicated.
Okay, that's good.
Right, cool. Okay, it looks like a Mark versus D-Stinger.
Oh, cool. It kind of gives you a strategy layout, like how to best use the character on the back. That's smart.
Oh, yeah. Well, we got the little highlights. I'll take the highlights.
Yeah.
But, we got our play match right here. So pretty much boning up back on the game. So each player, game setup, each player places their fighter and kata in their corner. Yeah, I need to keep little tape around so I can tape these mats to the surface.
Well, I think they'll stay okay.
Okay, so we'll put our corner card. We'll each player places their fighter and kata into their corner. Hypermeter to the side. Okay, so I got my 2 kata cards right here in the corner. This mat is really supposed to be bigger, but it's not.
Sure, yeah, we'll make do.
And so we'll put our regular side of our fighter right there in the middle.
Okay. Which one is that?
Yeah, and then instead of the corner, I'll just put mine all to the side. Matter of fact.
So the center card should be has no title.
It'll just say EX Fighter or Hyper Fighter.
Okay.
And that's a kata right there, so.
They might be in the other deck.
Damn.
I think there was some.
Think so?
Yeah.
I'll let you check there. Yeah, pretty much they'll have a bar on the bottom. Should be a yellow card. Nope, sure enough, not in here. Put these tokens out to the side. Cool. Yeah, Luis and D-Stinger, they're both kind of yellow.
Yeah, I wonder if any of these are supposed to be. No, these all look like hers.
Yeah. All right, so we got our fighters in the corner, surrounded by their 2 kata cards. And each player shuffles their arsenal deck and places it face down in the arsenal zone.
Is this a prototype or is this his final?
Final deal right here.
Final version. Very nice.
Yo.
Feels good.
Oh yeah. Print it up nicely. arsenal. Alright, each player shuffles their arsenal and places it face down in their arsenal. Players decide who goes first randomly. Grab a die.
Unless you want to go first since you're...
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, then I can see how you're kind of taking the turn.
Alright, preparation phase. Look at the top 4 cards of your arsenal. Then place any amount of them on top of your arsenal and the rest on the bottom. Draw cards until your hand has 4 cards. Okay, now I say again, like it's been some months, but you want to basically keep defense in your hand. It's one of those types of games, like alright, so
spend it all in one.
yeah. So you want to block. So let's go into the anatomy of cards. Well, first let's go with the character. So like, you know, Mark, you got your hypermeter. When you'll start the game at 0. Whenever you get to 9, you get to transform your fighter into either their hyper form or their EX fighter form. So you can do either a hyper attack or EX fighter form. But so you'll start like that, and then once you get to 9, you flip the card. But so Mark's thing is arsenal. You can only pack up to 8 block cards in the arsenal. I'm sure it comes pre-constructed like that. So like block cards, there should be only 8 in there. And then continuous, your punches, kicks, and grapples gain +1 PAL. PAL is you win the game by making the opponent a discard, aka mill all their cards to their exhaust. Yeah. So I think
the whole game is mill.
So I think it's 40 card decks, and then 40 or 50. I think it's 40. Got to be 40, and then you lose when you lose all your 40 cards.
I like that. Interesting.
And your punches, kicks, and grapples gain +1 PAL. And PAL is how many cards you mill, and then prevent 1 combat damage from your opponent's attacks. Okay. As an action, you may pay max hyper to perform Mark's Supreme Crusher. So then go to hyper. I'll move him over to Supreme Crusher. And then this attack can only be blocked by an effect or breaker card. Breaker cards are they're like 4 maximum in your deck, and they'll just stop incoming damage.
Okay.
Unless you have like an unstoppable type of damage, which that has a certain keyword, we'll get to it. But this attack can only be blocked by an effect or breaker card. Holds inflict combat damage until they cause X block cards to be revealed from their opponent's arsenal, where X is their level. So that's a whole nother milling thing. And then the kata forms or whatever, the kata cards, they'll be on the side of the fighter. This one says continuous. Whenever your effect sends a card to your key pool, target 2 attack cards in your exhaust and shuffle them into your arsenal. So pretty much a life gain right there, bringing attacks back. And then continuous, your attacks gain hit, raise your hyper X, where X is this attack's value. Okay, so what's the Stinger do?
Alright, let's see. His main card, when you reveal Stinger Shot from the top of your arsenal as combat damage from an attack, you may discard 1 to place it into your hand. Then his kata cards are discard 1 tactic card to target one level 1 attack card with an original hit effect in your exhaust, then pay its cost to perform it. When the attack resolves, if it would be sent to your Kai pool, send it to your exhaust instead. This other one is, what's CONT? Continuous?
Continuous, yep.
Oh, continuous, okay. When your attack with hit effects gain chip 1. Oh, when
chip is its non-blockable damage, extra damage.
Okay. When your attacks with hit effects. Okay, I get it. Cool. Okay. Yeah.
All right, and then just keep it on going through the rules. But preparation phase, look at the top 4 cards of your arsenal, then place any amount of them on top of your arsenal and the rest on the bottom. Draw cards until you have 4 cards. And you may set any number of tactic cards from your hand by placing them into play face down, and use setup effects. Tactics are like just things that'll stay here in the in-play zone. But yeah, let me kind of give you... Okay, yeah, decisive phase. Decide whether you wish to initiate combat or not. If you do, proceed to the combat phase. If not, the end phase. Then we got the end phase. Both players may place any number of cards from their hand onto the bottom of their arsenal. Then your turn ends and your opponent starts their turn with their prepare phase. Okay. All right, combat phase. Yeah, let me just kind of go through it, and then we'll get to it.
Yeah.
When you initiate combat, you become the aggressor, and your opponent the defender. So you can kind of slide this thing up to the aggressor, and then
As opposed to okay.
something. And your opponent the blocker, and you track. Yeah, you're supposed to track your health and everything with your fighter. Track your hyper with your fighter, but when you're the aggressor, then you let that show. Then when you're not the aggressor, don't let it show, I guess.
Okay.
All right. You may now use any trigger events with the condition of initiating or entering combat. The defender now draws cards until their hand has 4 cards. Then they may use their trigger effects with the condition of entering combat. In the combat phase, the aggressor and defender take turns making actions, starting with the aggressor. As an action, either use an act effect, performing an attack, or passing. Okay, act effects. To use an act effect, do what the effect says to do. If the act effect is on a card in your corner or in play, it can only be used once per combat. If it's a card in your hand, place that card into play, use the effect, and send it to your exhaust or a specified area stated in the effect. And attacking. To perform an attack, pay its cost, either key equal to its level, 0 through 2, or max hyper for a level 3 hyper attack. Then place it into play. If it's an attack in your hand, now use any attack effects it has. Okay, so whenever they land, whenever they complete, then they'll be sent to the key pool. There's I believe there's 3 types of cards. There's attacks right here. This is an attack punch. There's same card. Attack punch again. All right, doing a lot of punching.
That must be his focus, maybe.
Something like that. Okay, so breaker block. So when things land, they'll usually go to the key pool. Then they provide 1 key. So this card right here cost 1 key to be played from hand.
Harvest 4 when you play to your key pool.
Yep. So once you pay to play one, then you'll put it in your exhaust. So this tactic right here, that's a free, doesn't cost anything. This one right here, this delayed light jab, this is a free one. This one right here is going to cost 2 key.
Okay.
So it's a process of getting the free ones to hit, then you send them to your key pool, then you can pay for more expensive stuff.
Okay.
Yep. All right, keeping on with these rules. Attacking. Your opponent can now block your attack with either an effect or block card. If they block the attack with a block card, they place it into play and use any block effects it has. Both your attack and their block resolve. Your attack is sent to your key pool, and their block is sent to their exhaust. If your opponent doesn't block your attack inflicts combat damage. The amount of combat damage your attack inflicts is equal to its POW. Your opponent now reveals cards from the top of their arsenal, then places them into their exhaust equal to the combat damage inflicted. If they reveal a breaker card, they use its breaker effect, then resume revealing the remaining cards and placing them into their exhaust. Most breakers, I believe, will just stop the attacks from doing further damage. If your attack has any hit effects, they're used after all combat damage is inflicted. Your attack now resolves and is sent to your key pool. Okay, so if your attack has any effects, they're used. So I guess if it's not blocked, then it goes to the key pool. I think it says when so when it's blocked, I think it does not go to the key pool.
When it's blocked, it does not. Okay, that makes sense.
I think so. We'll just have to double read that. Passing. This is the choosing to do nothing. If both players pass consecutively, the combat phase ends. When the combat phase ends, proceed to the end phase. The turn player is no longer the aggressor and the opponent the defender. Once one player's action resolves, their opponent may take an action. This goes back and forth until both players pass consecutively, at which point the combat phase ends and the end phase starts. And then this is the last part, the glossary. So the attribute keyword and An attribute is a property of a card denoted by white text with an elongated black hexagram. Cards can't gain attributes they already have. Chip, when you attack with chip is blocked by a block card, it inflicts chip damage your opponent equal to its chip value. So that's just extra unblockable damage. Might not even be it. Well, when it's blocked, it still does damage.
Yeah.
Okay, so combat damage inflicted when your attack is not blocked. Discard if an effect or cost tells a player to discard a card, it's from the hand. And effect damage inflicted to your opponent as a result of an effect. Heal, placing a card on the bottom of your arsenal. If an effect does not designate a target for you to heal, place that many cards from the top of your exhaust on the bottom of your arsenal. Hyper fighting, use the following effect only if your fighter is a hyper fighter. Neutralize, if a card is played is neutralized, it's sent from play to its owner's exhaust. Original, the text printed on the card. Pay the cost to use an effect. It's not an effect itself. Precision. An attack with precision can only be blocked by a card used from the opponent's hand. Precision is an attribute, not an effect. Remove, if a card is removed, it's sent from the owner's remove pile to outside of the game. Search, look through your arsenal for the designated card type, then place it in your designated location. Shuffle your arsenal afterwards. Status effect, cards with secondary type. Use status effects to access their secondary type. Stunned, if an effect causes a player to become stunned, their next action this combat ends as soon as it starts. Then they cease being stunned, and effects can't be used while stunned.
Okay.
All right.
I like this quick start guide. This feels like comprehensive.
Oh yeah. There's a longer version on the website. We might have to consult it, but maybe not. All right. Yeah. So again, attacks, punches, tactics. Heavy, when you perform an attack, this attack gains +4 pal. Do you have any kind of setup thing on your guy? Do you know?
Doesn't look like it, no.
Yeah, it looks like on mine I don't. So Arsenal, you can only pack 8 blocks. Continuous, your punches, kicks, and grapples. Yes, we're not going to worry about that. Like tactics, I believe they'll go into the in-play zone. They'll just be in play until something happens to them. Okay, we got attack, grapple, attack, punch, tactics, kicks, blocks, breaker block. I can only have 8 blocks, so I don't have too many. So.
Oh, right. Yeah, I don't think I have anything like that. So where is damage tracked? Is damage just discarding?
Damage is just discarding. So when you run out of your deck, you lose the game.
Got it. So if you do 5 damage, you're discarding 5
Yep.
cards. Got
it. That's it.
Oh, are you done? Okay. I'm gonna cast
I like this art, and he did all the art himself, didn't he?
He's got actually a singular artist who did all of this. Yeah.
I like it. It's cool.
Oh yes, pretty nice.
Yeah.
All right, so back to the top. Each player places their fighter and cutter into their corner. Each player shuffles their arsenal and places it face down in the arsenal zone. Players decide who goes first. Preparation phase, look at the top 4 cards of your arsenal, then place any amount of them on the top of your arsenal and the rest on the bottom. Draw cards until you have 4 in hand. So you get to smooth out your hand at first.
Like that, with the first 4.
Yep. That is cool.
So you're turn 1.
Yeah, so like I say, it seems to be just the balancing of keeping blocks in hand and such.
Well, it's okay.
And being able to afford cards to play and getting enough key into your key pool by landing attacks.
Yeah. So the key you earn is the same as what it costs, right? So this earns 2 key if I use it to pay for another card, but it also costs 2 key if I want to play.
No, every single card in here is worth 1 key in your key pool.
Got it. Okay.
Because I already had Matt's number.
Okay.
That is Matt. Oh no, Sophie please.
Yeah, but this is one of them games I think I lost the 2 games I have played. 2 or 3 games I've played.
Oh yeah.
Yep. All right, I'm just gonna go ahead and keep this in hand.
Okay.
beat him up. I'm like,
All right. Right now, so I'm the aggressor. I'll just put my fighter right there, showing that I'm the aggressor, and I've got 0 hyper right now.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going first. So you can bottom deck what you don't like, and then draw back to 4 if you want to get rid of anything. And okay, you may then set any number of tactic cards from your hand by placing them face down and use setup effects. Oh, I did have a tactic. All right, you know what? Screw that. I think I am gonna get rid of 2 of these. Bottom deck these 2. Trying to just get to the tactic cards. You know what? Let's go all out. Let's go all 4 of these. Bottom deck. Top of your arsenal, the rest on the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's try to get the tactic card. Crapped out. All right. So set any number of your tactic cards from your hand by placing them face down and use setup effects. Setup effects on your cards in your corner or in play can only be used once per turn. Okay, then decisive phase. Decide whether you wish to initiate combat or not. If you do, proceed to the combat phase. If not, in phase. Okay, decide whether or not you want to initiate combat. So I'll see like if I want to go to combat. Okay, I'll start out by throwing a. Oh, here. Okay, here we go. I'm tripping. All right, so let's read that one more time. You may set any number of your tactic cards from your hand by placing them into play face down and use setup effects.
that's how shooters get it.
Okay, I got no setup effects. You've got no setup effects, right? Okay. On cards in your corner or in play can be used. All right, so I'm just flipping this up. I'm not sure. All right, so heavy. Pack only if your fighter is heavy. My fighter is heavy. EX fighter that's heavy. And then trigger when you perform an attack. So this kind of just stays in play until I believe you have a card that gets rid of it.
Okay.
Something like that.
And what's it doing every turn? Or what's the trigger?
So when I perform an attack, that attack gains +4 PAL. Then if its PAL is 10 plus, it gains chip 4. So even if it's blocked, it still deals 4.
Still doing damage. Okay.
Okay. When you were attacked with chip is blocked by a block card, it inflicts chip damage to your opponent equal to its chip value. All right. So when you perform an attack, then that attack does +4 damage. No, +4 PAL. Okay. All right. So here I go. Okay, so I'm deciding on the decisive phase if I want to do an attack, which I do. I will do delayed light jab for 0 key. Free thing. So now it's on you if you want to block or take it. Then the trigger is when this card is sent to your exhaust to pay the key cost of an attack. When this card is sent to your exhaust to pay the key cost of an attack, that's on a later attack that I'm trying to throw out. You may pay or remove this card to have that attack gain +2 PAL.
Okay.
But we'll just worry about that
Yeah,
bridge
yeah,
when we
yeah.
cross it. All right.
Okay, so I can block with this.
Okay.
Prevent the next 3 combat damage to your opponent's current attack would inflict. Then if this effect prevented all remaining combat damage from that attack, inflict 2 damage on your opponent, remove this card.
Okay, so pretty much I'm at 2 PAL that I'm doing, +4, that's 6. Let me make sure that my cot is not doing anything and yours aren't either.
Yeah.
Okay, and when you, so like, also your mission is to be raising your hyper to transform your guy. So I'll just go from the top or whatever. Continuous, your attacks gain hit, raise your hyper X, where X is that attack's level. So the cost of the cards is also the level. So this is a level 0. So I'd raise my thing 0. And you can only pack 8 block cards. Continuous, your punches, kicks, and gravels gain +1 PAL. I'll just put a dice on there, honestly. +1 there. Okay, so my kicks, punches, and grapples gain +1 PAL. Prevent 1 combat damage from your opponent's attacks. So prevent 1.
Okay. Continuous.
Yo. I'll just throw one of these hearts on there to know what I mean. All right, and then the other one, and then both of these are continuous, and then this third one is also continuous. Whenever your effect sends a card to your key pool, target 2 cards in your exhaust and shuffle them into your arsenal. Okay, and yours do again?
Let's see. If I pay by discarding 1 tactic card to target 1 level 1 attack card with an original hit effect in your exhaust, then pay its cost to perform it. When that attack resolves, it would be sent to your Kai pool. Send it to your exhaust instead.
Okay.
I'm not sure what that's saying.
Let me act. Okay, so as in act effect, activated effect, pay.
Oh, okay.
So you'll discard one of your tactic cards that you have out. Like I got this tactic card out. So to target 1 level 1 attack card with an original hit effect. This one has no hit effect. Then pay its cost to perform it. So it'll probably be your tactic card, then pay to perform it. When that attack resolves, if it would be sent to your key pool, send it to your exhaust instead.
Okay.
He still runs 0. I at least run 5.
I don't know why you would want to do that, but that's one of your options though.
Okay, yeah.
And then your middle guy.
Yeah, the middle one is a trigger when you reveal Stinger Shot from the top of your arsenal as combat damage from an attack. You may pay discard 1 to place it into your hand. Then the other one is a continuous effect. Your attacks with hit effects gain chip 1.
Okay. Cool. And you've got the cool tokens over there, so they'll come into play at some point.
Yeah. Some Venom tokens.
All right, but back to this deal though. Okay, so I pretty much got an inherent +1 pal right there. I prevent 1 attack. Your attacks gain hit. Raise your hyper X where it's the level. And whenever your effect sends cards to your key pool, then I'll get 2 back to the bottom of my deck. All right, but so we were at this one dealt 2 +4. Whenever you perform an attack, it gets +4, so that's 6, 7 total pal I'm throwing.
Okay. So I'm blocking 3.
7 blocking 3, so that'll be
So do I discard 4 or?
yeah. So you blocked, but it's dealing 3. No. You blocked. I'm swinging 7. You're blocking 3.
3, yeah.
Now that's a breaker. Okay, breaker is read what breaker is on there.
Prevent the next 3 combat damage your opponent's current attack would inflict. Then, if this attack prevented all remaining combat damage from that attack, inflict 2 effect damage to your opponent. Remove this card.
Okay.
Which you didn't, right? I mean,
Yeah, so I'm thinking you milled the 4.
okay. And that comes from here, right? On my hand?
Yep.
Okay.
From there.
So 1. I know some of my cards have an ability.
0 lands. I get the 5 You're looking at the 5
4. Okay.
Cool. All right, so
And this
that's
gets
and then that
key or
gets
discard.
discarded because you gain key by resolving your attack. When attack cards are resolved, they're sent here. Send cards from your key pool to your exhaust to pay to perform attacks or use effects. Place your burst EX fighter or 2 kata cards there. And attack cards performed and block tactic cards used go here when they resolve. Okay, so I resolve this attack.
Yeah, so it
So
goes.
then it goes to my key pool.
And then you can spend it. Interesting. Okay.
Yup. Okay, so this one says trigger key pool. Yeah, just when I'm using it to pay, I can do something fancy with it.
Got it.
Okay, so I got 2 cards in hand. I'm sure it's still my attack since. I raised my hyper. Hold on. You can only pack 8. Your punches and kicks and grapples do +1. Okay, I think it has to be something to say that you raise your hyper. Okay, your attacks gain hit. Raise your hyper X where it's that level. So 0, I don't raise my hyper any.
Got it. Okay.
All right. So, all right, so I'm sure I still have the attack phase. Let me see, decisive phase. Decide whether you want to initiate combat or not. If you do, proceed to the combat phase. In phase, both players may place any number of cards from their hand on the bottom of their arsenal. Your turn ends when your opponent starts their turn with their preferred. Okay, so we're still on the combat phase. When you initiate combat, you become the aggressor and your opponent the defender. Okay, in the combat phase, the aggressor and the defender take turns of making actions, starting with the aggressor. Okay, if your opponent does not block, your attack now resolves and is sent to your key pool. Passing. This is choosing to do nothing if both players pass consecutively. I'm sure that it's not that you get a chance to attack now.
That wouldn't make sense.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's just been so much since I played, but this is choosing to do nothing. Yeah, I'm sure I just keep the combat phase.
Yeah, I don't think so.
All right, so I got 2 in hand. I think I'm gonna go ahead and pass turn. Yep, and then it's on. Yeah, so I mean, it says passing. This is choosing to do nothing if both players pass consecutively. The combat phase ends. When the combat phase ends, proceed to the end phase. The turn player is no longer the aggressor and their opponent the defender.
Oh, that is weird, though. Maybe it just means passing as far as playing defensive cards.
Yeah.
It's like I have no more defensive cards.
Yeah.
Or could I keep playing defensive cards?
Yeah, why would you want to?
Maybe to stun more damage?
Yeah, but I mean, if I'm not throwing any more damage, then why?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, but yeah. So I pass, you pass naturally,
yeah.
And then it'll go to your turn being the aggressor. I'll cover my aggressor up,
Okay.
and then I got 0 hyper, and yeah, back, and now you're the aggressor.
And do you draw to start, or?
Oh yeah, there's this thing like once the action. Okay, so we start back from the beginning. It could be some arrows or something.
So you draw 4 cards, choose 2.
Yeah. If an opponent does not block your attack, passing, this is choosing to do nothing. If both players pass, the combat phase ends. So combat phase ends. When the combat phase ends, proceed to the end phase. But there's nothing saying end phase though.
That's kind of cool. So it's
The
like a mulligan every turn.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, once one player's action resolves, the opponent may make an action. This goes back and forth until both players pass, at which point the combat phase ends and the end phase starts. Okay, so we go back to the top, turn structure. Okay, look at the top 4 cards of your arsenal. Then place any amount of them on top of your arsenal and the rest on the bottom. Draw cards until you have 4 cards. Okay, so yeah, mulligan again.
So I'll draw 4. I get to keep one of them because I already have 3.
Yeah, but I'm still trying to I've got a sleeve. I just want to make sure that
Okay, I'll keep this one. This goes to the bottom.
the cards I want.
That's all I can do.
And then
I will say, I cast 3 spells with 0 lands.
And this deck would be so much food.
I'll attack with. Use your cards to attack. So now we're going back and forth with what we have left. And
Okay.
eventually we'll both pass and go to the end phase.
Okay. So pretty much I did my turn.
Yeah.
I passed. Then it's on.
Yeah, to be the aggressor,
Okay.
right?
Yep. And then only you do the 4 top deck thing, right?
No, I don't even do that because I'm stuck with what I have
Okay, you're still
from our
with you.
initial.
Okay. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so I'll play delayed snap kick. There's a trigger for the Kai pool.
I want to say no, just because.
But that doesn't apply right now, right? Because I'm not using it for that.
Just because I don't know.
At least not yet. But it's when this card is sent to your exhaust to pay the Kai cost of an attack. You can pay to remove. You can remove the card to have that attack gain. Attack if you use this attack's original hit effect. You may use it a second time. So that only comes into play when I'm using it to pay for something from here.
Yeah, from the key pool. From the key pool.
Yeah. So for now, it's just doing 2 attack, I think.
2 attack. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a basic block.
Alright.
Raise my raise my hyper 1. Okay, raise my hyper 1. And then basic block.
How much does that block, do you think?
Yeah, how much does that block do? Keyhon block.
It's okay. I have sensei stuff.
It just
Give myself
Okay.
all 3.
Because the other card said like a certain amount of block,
Yeah,
right?
it did, yeah.
Breaker block. Prevent the next 3 combat. Breaker block. Prevent the next 3 combat damage your opponent's current attack would inflict. Then, if this effect prevented all remaining combat damage from that attack, inflict 2 effect damage to your opponent. Remove this card. Man, like you had, I don't know, man. It says just hit Keyhon block. I guess it's just a total block. Keyhon blocks are maybe total blocks, or
Maybe. Is there any clue in here?
If you can do it before
You
combat.
can now block your attack with either an effect or block card. If they block the attack with a block card, they place it into play using the block effects it has. Both your attack and block resolve. I don't know. There's a block. It must block the whole attack if it doesn't.
yeah, I mean, if it doesn't designate. So it says again, your opponent can now block your attack with either an effect or block card. If they block the attack with a block, they place it into play and use any block effects it has. Raise the hyper, and then both your attack and block resolve. Your attack is sent to your key pool, and their block is sent to their exhaust. Yeah, I'm taking it that it just
I think so,
blocks
yeah.
the whole thing.
So that comes down to my.
Now, like if you had chip damage, it would do more, but yours just only blocks 3. It sounds like.
Yeah, because it's not using a hit effect. It's not getting chip damage, right?
And that's just specific to that.
This is continuous, so I think it's any attack with a hit effect gains chip 1.
Yeah, I think that one didn't have a hit effect.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that one will go to your key pool. Yep.
Okay, yeah. So then it goes to you to be the attacker.
I'm thinking it's like you go throughout your whole attack phase, and then I do it.
We need to resolve the ETB of this. Go find a small.
Yeah, this would trip me up the last time. Yeah.
Because 1 and 3 are both talking about both players. Decide whether you wish to initiate combat.
It's like Dan, but you just play
So then cast it in the second main phase.
I'm going to pass.
But Jericho is done.
It's
Beginning of your post.
Once one player's action is resolved, the opponent may then make an action. This goes back and forth until the players consecutively pass, at which point the combat phase ends and the end phase starts. It says combat phase, I think it means decisive phase. Right?
He should be. Because I took him down before, but he dealt the damage.
Once.
Oh,
if-
because decisive phase is deciding whether or not to go to the combat phase. So yeah, I think when we're both in the combat phase, that's nested in the decisive phase. So we're both going back and forth until we have no cards to roll play. Then we restart by drawing 4, choosing the key.
Man, I halfway think I did it differently last time.
Yeah.
But yeah, but you're saying so you want to swing again? You think or?
No, now it goes to you because now I've made my attack. So now
Okay.
you make your attack if you want to. Otherwise, you can pass. It's a little Star Wars Destiny, maybe.
Okay, once one player's action resolves, their opponent may make an action. This goes back and forth until both players pass consecutively, at which point the combat phase ends and the end phase starts. Okay, so now you're thinking attack.
I think so.
Then we go to the preparation phase. End phase and then start back at the preparation phase.
That's how I'm reading it, but I could be wrong. I read the full rules, so maybe there's more.
Yeah, we'll play it out like this though. All right, so I'm passing.
Okay. Then I'll play another snap kick.
Nice. All right, so
2 damage.
all right, 2 damage. I am forced to take.
Okay.
Take 2. 1, 2.
Okay. And then I'll pass.
Okay, you pass. I'll pass.
We draw 4.
Yes, we go to prep phase. Thinking.
Could be wrong.
1. Okay, so top deck 4.
It's a really nice hand because it hasn't changed much since turn 1. I think that is.
John, turn. That it?
I'm gonna exile whatever this top card is.
Do tactics stay in play?
Yeah, like there's gotta be
you
ways
got
to
one.
get rid of them. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so then
I got none.
oh, look at the preparation phase. You may set any number of tactic cards from your hand by placing them face down and use setup effects.
Yeah. So if they've got setup effect, or just maybe even cards on your fighters may have setup effects, I believe too.
Oh, for when you play tactic
Yeah, just set tactics and then use setup effects as well in that prep phase.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, so 2 things. Yep. All right.
So if I want to play a tactic card, I should do it now?
Yeah, looks like it.
Okay.
What were the results of
What do you mean? What could go wrong?
2-1 Marty?
Okay.
So who's the aggressor, and when do we move the aggressor? Did we already move the aggressor?
Yeah, I think that's us going back and forth during the decisive / combat phase.
Because I think everybody's.
Where does it say that?
Well, because under the decisive phase, you're choosing whether or not to initiate combat, which would be the combat phase.
Okay.
And in there, we go back and forth until we've both passed.
I'm playing.
Okay, the turn player is, so after you pass, then we pass the aggressor and the defender. So who's the aggressor now?
Yeah, that's what I'm not sure about.
Yeah. Version 2. I might have to just consult the site because there was a Q&A and everything. And then I switched phones probably once or twice since then. It was in my old phone.
Oh, got it.
Are you looking to blow up the only permanent
Starts their turn. Wait, no, maybe you're right, because look, at the end of end phase, your turn ends and your opponent starts their turn with the prepare phase. You are right, I was wrong.
Yeah, it's just got to be a clearer flow chart though.
Yeah.
Because I got tripped up with this before. But, so did we do anything wrong, you think? Or not really? Because, you started attacking, but I think we should have went to a new phase where we both replenish our hands. But it should say, both players replenish their hands now at this point.
Well, no, I think because it says your opponent starts their prepare phase. So you wouldn't. I think because that's the trade-off of, attacking a lot is you have less block.
Yeah.
Although I guess they're not the same card anyways, but...
Yeah. Do you think you snuck in some attacks, or?
I think I did, yeah. My second attack shouldn't have gone through.
Because I should have replenished my hand?
So I can
it's cool. We'll just keep it going.
Okay, yeah.
It's cool. We'll just keep it going. But so right now we're just refreshing our hands. You just kind of attacked, right? But you blocked, so.
Yeah, so I think it would be your...
Think I'll be the aggressor now?
I think so, yeah. Yeah.
All right, so we'll just do it like that. All right, so I got 1 hyper on the aggressor.
And then I don't refresh my hand at this point. Because it's your preparation phase, not mine.
And now, I mean, see, that's the thing. Do both players do the preparation phase or just one?
No, because look at the end of the last sentence of end phase.
Both players may place any number of cards from their hand onto the bottom of their arsenal. Your turn ends and the opponent starts their turn with their prepare phase. Yeah, I mean, you got bold and their prepare phase. All right, their prepare phase. Okay. Yeah, see, but just to make things clear, like, aggressor looks at the top. Aggressor looks at the top 4 cards of their arsenal. All right. Your turn ends and your opponent starts their turn with their prepare phase. Okay, there we go. Does it seem kind of easy to overlook, or?
I feel like I guess I'm a little confused why it's not just saying like what the point of the passing is. Why doesn't it just say you attack, I block, then we move on? Or you keep attacking if you want to and I keep blocking.
Passing, this is choosing to do nothing. If both players pass consecutively, the combat phase ends. You might have little things that you can do on your cards to make effects happen.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that is true.
All right. But yeah, let's go to, okay, so my prep phase, I just prepped. Okay, I'm prepping now. I'm the aggressor. I'm attacking. All right, here we go. And now we're in the money. I'm just saying, a lot of people just not really smart in reading every detail, so you got to make it very, very crystal clear as possible.
You skim, right? Like,
Yeah.
You have to.
That's it. All right, I'll start off with a delayed light jab, 0. So a trigger from the key pool when I'm paying costs again, what I just did before, but just full art. So yeah, so that's coming in 2 pal plus 4. This seems crazy. Yeah, so that's 6 plus 1. That's 7.
Okay. Let's see. I can block 3 damage. Remove this. Oh, that's something different. Okay. Okay. So I block 3. Take 4.
I think so. I should
Right.
that it's 3 mana.
Yep.
And so I revealed Stinger Shot. And so when you reveal Stinger Shot from the top of your arsenal as combat damage,
Okay.
I can discard a card to put it in my hand.
Oh, nice.
That's 4. That is pretty good. Yeah, I'll do that.
And then I'm sure that's what gives the poison tokens, I'm sure.
Oh. I don't know, actually. We'll see. I still have to do 3 more. So 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Okay. And so that went through, so it'll go to my key pool. And then I gain 0 hyper because it's a level 0.
It is what creates Venom tokens.
I'll go to my draw step. I will draw a card. You'll never guess what card. It's a land. I will say, very shit I can do. So.
All right, I'll go pay 2 to get it going. All right, so got 2 breakthrough strike. I'll spin the 2, which both of these have the same card, trigger, key pool, when this card is sent to your exhaust to pay the key cost of an attack, you may remove this card to have it gain +2 power. So I'll have it gain 4 power, remove these cards from the game. Do I want to do that? Yeah, why not? All right, so 4 plus 4 plus 4, that's 8, plus 1, that's 9, plus 6, that's 15. And then your opponent can't use breaker effects of cards revealed as combat damage from this attack. Combat damage from this attack can't be prevented. Alright, so it looks like it's coming through with a smooth 15.
Can I block that? So it's 15 damage.
15 damage, ridiculous. Yeah.
7, 8, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I should flip through these real quick and make sure there's no effects that...
Stinger shots or something?
Yeah. I don't think so, though. Yeah, I don't think so. Okay.
Alright, so this one resolves, so it's going to the key pool. I've got 1 key, got 2 in hand. Let's see if I can continue this craziness. Okay, did I get any? So this resolve, let's see. Your attacks with hit raise your hyper X, where X is the attack's value. This one didn't have a hit effect, so it does not resolve it. When your effect sends a card to your key pool, target 2 attack cards in your exhaust and shuffle them into your arsenal. Okay, when your effect sends a card to your key pool, target 2 attack cards in your exhaust and shuffle them into your arsenal. Hold on. Trigger key pool. When this card is sent to your exhaust, pay the key cost of an attack. You may remove this. Oh. I might have did something wrong. I think I maybe should have did this and then shuffled something, but we'll just worry about that later.
Yeah, we can.
Okay. All right. All right. I'll go paying 1 to do high knife hand chop. Paying 1. Okay, whenever your effects send a card to your key pool. Okay, nah, maybe not.
I don't think it's an effect, right?
Well, I think this one might have been an effect right here. Trigger, key pool, when this card is sent to your exhaust, pay the key cost of an attack. You may remove. I think that might have worked. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Confusing.
Yeah.
All right. All right, so right there, paid 1 right there. High knife hand chop. So chip 2 and then hit, raise your hyper 2. So yeah, swinging 4 plus 4, that's 8, plus 1, that's 9.
Okay, so 9 more damage?
Yep, and then you can block if you want it.
I don't have any block cards.
Okay, dang. You might get a breaker or something in there. So.
Oh, yeah. Oh, if I reveal a breaker, it stops the damage?
Just read. I mean, it doesn't say in the glossary. I don't know why, but I mean, it has breaker effects on the card, I think.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's see.
1, 2.
So turn 1, I shouldn't be able to but I didn't play
7, 8, 9.
Alright. Okay, so no breakers. Alright. Oh, that's crazy. Alright. Alright, so this one resolved. So it'll go to the key pool. And then on hit, raise my hyper 2. So I hit, I'll raise the hyper 2. Going to 3. And then mark the bear as zany. So I'll do another attack for 1. Pay that 1. No effects, I don't believe. I think effects are here, not sure. Tell me later, some gamer dude, if that's the case. But so in passing flying knee, swinging 4 plus 4 plus 1, that's 9 total. And then attack. Yep, an attack, raise your hyper 1. So I guess I'm swinging, raise the hyper 1. And then you may pay 1 key to target one opponent's debuff in play and neutralize it. A card that is neutralized is sent to its owner's exhaust. All right, so swinging 9.
Beginning of combat on my turn, I may attach it.
All right, yeah, I think in us doing the wrong kind of turn order or something,
Yeah.
something got messed up in translation.
I see
But
a
yeah.
card that was
Oh yeah,
doing
go
all the
for
damage.
it. Oh, this one. Oh yeah,
This
when the tactic card, yeah. Yeah, the tactic card seems pretty OP, right?
What is POW? I mean, it's PAL, but what is...
PAL is just the effect of taking cards from your arsenal to your exhaust. Yeah.
So it's the same as damage, basically.
Yeah, damage.
And it gains chip 4.
Yep.
Shoot, that's crazy. That's a very good card.
Yeah, man, it just seems like it's a free play, right? Tactics, set it up. Pack only if your fighter is heavy. Trigger when you perform an attack. That attack gains +4 power. That seems ridiculous.
It's
Then
not
if
supposed to be
it's,
hyper, right?
I mean, it's
Like
just
only once you flip your card, you can use it. Oh, how do you get hyper? What is hyper?
okay. Yeah. So the hyper, you get the hyper every time that a card tells you to raise your hyper.
Got it. And then what happens when you reach?
So I mean, so D Stinger starts out as a burst fighter, which is light. Then he has, yep, and then it flips. And then you get to do your. Then you get to go in the hyper fighter form, which has better effects.
Got it. That's kind of cool. I like that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think the rules could use maybe a touch up, but it's
Yeah, I mean, and like I say, there's a fact and everything, but I mean, I've been tripped up on this, I know, at least twice. So could just use a better flow or whatever. I know that word is key, their prepare phase. I would really even say just either player 1, whenever it's player 1, you say player 1, the aggressor, then you signify the defender, then you say both players whenever it's both players.
yeah, that would be.
Yeah.
I think that would work a little bit better.
All right. Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting. You've got some cool ideas.
Oh yeah. I like it. I'm sure I would like it even more once I got everything crystal clear. But yeah. Till the next episode.
See ya.
Later.